All right, today we're talking scams with Ash Miller from Trend Micro, Director of Consumer Education and Marketing and the scam business. I thought today what we should do is just go into the nuts and bolts of where we are at the moment with Ash and get some insights on what's going on. Ash, how are you?
I'm great, Charlie. How are you?
I'm all right. And this business just keeps changing, doesn't it? The business of scams. Once upon a time, we were okay. We thought we were okay if we could read an email and identify the bits that made that email look dodgy. It's getting harder to do that, though, your research says.
100%. Unfortunately, what we're seeing is that the scams are no longer the simple scams that we could easily pick up by the human eye with the blatant spelling errors, the nonsensical emails. As people are using AI more, so are the cyber criminals. So the scams are getting smarter and smarter and harder to detect, which is really unfortunate because we're seeing more Aussies and more people worldwide being scammed.
Part of the issue is the AI stuff that we've got now. I mean, plenty of people use it in the community to improve their written communication, but it seems like the criminals are doing the same kind of thing. Is that partly the reason where these tools are more accessible and are making the poor formatting much, much better?
Yeah, that's why we're seeing the quality of this game to the cyber criminals like putting out there much smarter and much more realistic because they have the technology now that they can replicate messages, they can replicate emails. There's all these grammar tools, so the previous mistakes of them being full of grammar and spelling mistakes, there's AI tools that we're all using day to day that help pick up those things. So all the little giveaways, simple grammatical giveaways that were there before, not so much there before. And the AI technology that helps us produce better things when we're doing things at work or at home, they're also using it as well to make the scams they're doing more realistic, which is why more and more people are unfortunately falling for them.
It seems that once upon a time, if you overshared, you were more vulnerable, but not so much the case. It seems that everyone's in the same bucket.
Oversharing is always going to get you into trouble. Yes, that's true, but it's you're not only going to become a target for cyber criminals and scams just because you overshare online. Uh, we've got data breaches happening all the time. You can have malicious websites that capture your details. It's not just oversharing where people can capture your details. There's a raft of ways, and unfortunately, AI is just making it even more convenient to source these information for the scammers.
So we're talking about all these tools that's making it easier for scammers, but as I understand it, and I think from what I saw in your research even, the important thing is that we still maintain these real world relationships, especially with friends and family, and help each other understand what to do if you're scammed. Can you explain all that to us?
Yeah, unfortunately, we still have a big stigma out there around scams and people owning up to being scams, which you really need to shake off. We should be having conversations with our friends and families about what to do when or if we're scammed, and even to have the conversation that if you're being scammed, it's okay to talk about it. The only way that we're going to get awareness and education and fight this problem is if we're all talking about it and be open if something happens to us, be open about talking about what to do after you've been scammed so that we can help get the education piece out there and get people more comfortable talking about scams.
I reckon we'd be a bit alarmed if we actually had the data on all the scams that had happened in the community, not just the ones that were reported, because at the end of the day, data is collected when it's reported, right? So like, you get
Or
off 20 grand or whatever from your bank account, that's reported, centralized. And so we know that that goes into the giant pool of scam theft that occurs. And we go, okay, but there's scams that aren't reported by people, and you point to people being embarrassed or feeling silly for falling for it. Um, I wonder how much bigger it would be if we actually had 100% reporting of scams in the community.
all we're really seeing is the top of the iceberg because a lot of what is happening isn't being reported. I dare say we're probably not seeing 90% of the numbers that we're seeing. We're probably only seeing 10% reported at most.
That's terrible. Um, You got Scam Check, you got a product that helps here. I mean, look, it's not all doom and gloom, and it is good to hear that there are tools being employed to fight these tools that are being directed at us to scam us. Tell us about that one.
So the coolest thing about Scam Check is that it has a feature that if you're not sure if something's a scam, like if you get a text or an email or you see a social ad online, you just take a screenshot of it and you can submit it into the app and you get real time results to tell you if it's a scam or not a scam, what actions you should take. So that's one of the features. There's also inbuilt SMS blocking and filtering.
That's often the gateway, isn't it, Ash? The SMS or the targeted message.
The screens are smaller. We just look at it and like, oh yeah, that kind of looks right. And we click on it. Doesn't do us any favors. And then also in Scam Check, there is also, it helps block malicious content. So if there's a website that you're going to visit that is malicious, it'll warn you about it. And then another cool feature is it has a deepfake video call feature. So if you're having a video call, it helps tell you if that person you're talking to is a deepfake or not, which for a lot of people, we kind of think, oh, wow, yeah, okay, cool. But it is something we've seen in the news. It's happening more and more.
So it does appear a bit extreme that someone would deepfake the imagery of a friend or family to then have a fake video call with you, but it does happen.
Or because it's all about building trust. And if you see a face and a voice that you trust, you're more likely to fall for it. That's the whole thing behind these deep fakes. It's the building of the trust. And that's why you've seen, even on a news level, we've seen politicians being used, have been celebrities being used because they're people we're trusting. So that's why deep fakes is a big thing and it's going to be a growing thing. And so that app helps detect deep fake videos.
We've spent a lot of years on VPNs and getting people to use them. I do feel that finally, it's probably taken decades, that finally we're actually turned the corner on that one. People are aware of what they are, aware of the benefit, aware of the importance, especially when they travel. What say you on that one?
I don't have the confidence that you have on that one. I think we still have a lot of the way to go on the VPN. I think it's still too easy for people just to connect to the public Wi-Fi and they don't really think about the threats behind it.
I don't think that they're punching in their net bank PIN code and user details and across the internet go.
Unfortunately, our society is more about convenience. We kind of put convenience before thinking through things. We have got better 100%, but is there room to grow? Definitely. So I think getting the message about VPNs is still important because I think it's like all these kind of things. People think, oh, it's not going to happen to me. And it's like insurance. It's something, oh, I don't need insurance. But then after it happens, you're going to be wishing that you did have it.
Yeah, it happened to a friend of mine. I told you about that one many years ago. Used the Wi-Fi at the hostel in Italy. $250,000 later, all transferred through his PayPal account in small amounts. He got it back, but it took about a year and a half, I think, in total. But somebody had to pay that $250,000. He now uses a VPN when he travels for sure. Final piece of advice.
Think before you click. I know that sounds very simple, but it can be put into different scenarios. Say you get a text message you aren't expecting. Think before you click it. If you see an ad online about a red hot deal that looks too good to be true, probably is. And it's probably a scam. So don't click on them. So think before you click.
Good advice. Ash Miller, good to always have a chat to you. We've been talking safety and security in the digital world for many, many years now. Always good to catch up and have a chat to you about what is going on. Interesting research that you guys have put out. Thank you for taking us through it. We'll speak to you again soon.
Likewise. Thanks, Charlie.